Hello, BookTube. Well, it's another library tour here at Hyde Cottage, and it's a strange one. First of all, I'm on a stepladder, which is not going to appeal to my teenagers who don't like it when I risk life and limb. And second, it's not an ordinary bookshelf at all. Those of you who've been here will know the area I'm talking about in the living room here at Hyde Cottage. One of the only two rooms in the whole place where books accumulate. There's a hutch. It's an indentation in the wall. It has 3 shelves built into it. It used to be the doorway to another part of the house before this place got partitioned off into apartments. And there's no internal light in the hutch, so it's dark almost all the time. And the shelves are too great a temptation. There's also a shelf at the bottom. This is the gallbladder of my book collection. This is where all the junk accumulates that then has to be cleaned out and sorted, and some gotten rid of and others put elsewhere. This is that place. I'm sure you all have such a place. This is the only one left in Hyde Cottage. This is the only place left that's like this. And I thought I might as well take this library tour to the shadows of Mordor, just to get it over with, and because maybe it will help me to deal with this hutch, these shelves, these piles, I don't know what's in here. That's another difference in this particular library hall, is that I don't know what we're going to be encountering. I try not to look at these shelves, and I shouldn't. There shouldn't be a part of my book collection that's like that. I am trying to streamline my personal library to a point where it has nothing like this, where the only miscellaneous pile that it has is a pile that I am getting rid of, that has a spot on the floor and not vast tracts of shelf space. So anyway, I thought we would do shelf number 1 of the Mordor library tour, and we'll start up in the corner here. What is this one in the dark? This is Stories in Almost Classical Mode by Harold Brodke, a great writer who's not always great in this book, but there are a lot of great stories in here. Don't know why I have it. Don't know why I have a trade paper. I have a hardcover. Let's see what the next one is here. I have to prevent these things from falling over. This is a galley copy from 2016, Under the Midnight Sun. A thriller, if I recall correctly, that I liked. International bestseller Keigo Higashino's most ambitious novel yet. A 20-year-old murder, 2 teenagers linked by the crime, and a detective obsessed with the final truth. And I remember liking it. I read it and liked it. So what it's doing up here instead of with the other fiction, I don't really know. Let's see, what's next here? Oh, Dear Cyborg by Eugene Lim. I had high hopes for it, and it disappointed. I didn't think it worked at all. And what's the next one here? This is the galley copy of another 2016 novel, Before the Fall, by Noah Hawley, which I really liked. But there's absolutely no reason for me to have it. I have the finished copy, and I have the paperback release. So why I have it, I have no idea. Next is Ian Gordon's Comics Culture entry for Superman, The Persistence of an American Icon. I read this, and it was not a whit different or better than any of the other books like it on Superman that I have and that I love. So I don't know why I put it on a shelf instead of just designating it for release into the wild. The next one, okay, good. All right. The next one we have is Shakespeare and His Rivals. This is like an old casebook on the authorship controversy, but it's very good. It's the older you get, the further back you go in time to the 60s or 50s, when it comes to books about the Shakespeare authorship controversy, usually the better they will be, because the smarter they will be. They'll be getting into more and more detail. What's next here? Great. Okay, this is Thoreau's Animals, Ted Wiesner's book on just all the animal mentions in Thoreau's journals with original artwork. This is a lovely book. I actually reviewed it for the Christian Science Monitor, and I really like it. So what it's doing up in the dark, I have no idea. Okay, I think we might have seen this on this channel before. This is an old, as those of you who've been watching this channel for, it's 850 videos now. Sooner or later, we're going to have to start talking about what we want to do for video 1000. That's a fairly rare milestone on BookTube, so I'd be happy to take suggestions. But this is, I love Venice. Those of you who've been watching this channel will know that it's my second favorite place in the world. And I'm never going to go back. I lived there for a while, and I'm never going to go back. So I tend to love books about it. And this is an old one. This is from, oh God, I don't even know. It's full of black and white photos. This has got to be from 60 years ago. Doesn't have a copyright date. Well, anyway, it's Venice. I had to fix the cover just a bit. It's by Pompeo Momenti, and it's just full of black and white photos and reproductions of artwork, just from the Travel Lovers Library, and it's their entry on Venice. There ought to be a whole shelf here for Venice. That makes obvious sense. Why that isn't true, I don't know. The next one is a novel. It's a galley copy from 2007. The Mistress of the Arts of Death. I've recommended this to many of you before. It is a historical novel set in the reign of King Henry II, starring a woman who is a forensic, what we would now consider a forensic scientist. But at the time, women, there was only one place in the whole Western world that was teaching women those skills, and she has them, but she has to practice them in England, where women can't do anything. She has to pretend that one of her servants is the actual doctor. And she's a great character, an absolutely fantastic character right from the beginning, right from the opening scene, when we barely know anything about her. We only know that she's so incredibly dedicated to her craft that she often forgets what's good for her. And so for the whole length of the series, you're watching out for her as well as paying attention to the series. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. I'd be happy to send you a copy. The Mistress of the Arts of Death, even if you don't follow the rest of the books, you're going to fall in love with this book. The next one is something we've seen on this channel before, so it must be a double. This is Make Way for Lucia. This is E.F. Benson's 5 great novels set in a tiny British town that's ruled over by an imperious matriarch and who has a rival. They're absolutely wonderful. If you fall into the world of these books, you will never want to leave it. I highly recommend it, but this is not my only copy even of this anthology. And I have the individual volumes too, somewhere. Let's see, what is this next one? It's pretty. Okay, this is the finished copy of Patrick Modiano's Via Triste. No idea what this is doing here. No idea at all. It's an author I can't stand, and a book that bored me to tears. And here it is on a shelf here. Oh, great. Okay, this is Evan Boland's A Poet's Dublin. This was fantastic. It's full of pictures and full of reflections and also full of verse, so it's a volume to keep. What's next here? Okay, this is another hardcover of Ian McEwan's Atonement, which I think is his best book. I loved it. Why I have many copies, I don't know. Okay, this is a crappy paperback of Lover Avenged by J.R. Ward with the great Paul Marron on the cover. His eyes don't glow in real life, just in case you meet him in Brooklyn and you're worried. Let's see. Next is a Library of America volume. This is some novels of Ross MacDonald. This contains Black Money, The Instant Enemy, The Goodbye Look, and The Underground Man. Ross MacDonald is a treat to read, especially if you like hard-boiled fiction. He's a treat to read, an unremittingly intelligent author. And then we have one of these great copper-spine modern library editions. This is the complete short stories of Robert Louis Stevenson. This used to be in my other room. It must have migrated out here at some point. Don't know why, don't know when. Then we have... this is a University of Iowa Press winner. One of their winners. They produced this book. It's a novella called November Storm by Robert Oldshoe. And I really, really liked it. I thought it was really, really good. So, again, theoretically, there should be a shelf here somewhere that is all contemporary fiction. They shouldn't be scattered all over creation. There should be one shelf or maybe one bookcase devoted to contemporary fiction, everything after 1950. And there isn't. There should be, but there isn't. Let's see this next one. Oh, okay. This is Gregory Dowling's book Ascension. Is his murder mystery set in Venice? This is this author's Venetian murder mysteries is a perfect example of the effect that BookTube has had on me, because I think this author was a teacher of the book chemist, and he has praised this author's novels, and he praised this one after I had already read it in a galley, and it didn't impress me at all. In fact, it annoyed me. And then I saw his video praising it in intelligent ways, and I thought, well, okay, maybe you missed a lot. So I went back, and sure enough, the series is much better than I thought it was at first. Whatever annoyed me at first didn't annoy me afterwards. Let's see here. What have we got? Oh, okay. I think I've mentioned this on this channel before. This is How I Became a Famous Novelist by Steve Healy. And let me hold it up again for you. You really need to find and read this book. You will never think about the publishing or the book industry again the same way after you do. It's the story of a young man who decides to become a best-selling novelist in order to rub it in his ex-girlfriend's face when he attends her wedding. But in order to get his revenge, in order for the plot to work, he has to become a best-selling novelist. And he goes at it methodically, and it is satire of the first kind. Let's see here. What's next? Oh, okay. All right. This is a galley copy from my old days book reviewing. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my. This is Now Playing at Canterbury by Vance Bourgeois, his most ambitious and greatest novel, and a great novel on its own. It's a novel about a university in Iowa, clearly the University of Iowa, that decides to put on an opera, and they need a director, and they get a down-at-heels, Brooklyn hack to do it. He's totally a fish out of water in the high intellectual circles of the university town. But it's not just about him. It's about the miscellaneous cast of performers and all the powers that be behind the scenes, and the climax, the opera. Oh, this is a wonderful, wonderful novel. I'm very glad that I kept it, although I don't think I ever reviewed it. Anyway, let's move on here. Okay, the next two are UK trade paperbacks. I have a sweet tooth for them, of P.D. James. This is the Private Patient and Death in Holy Orders, two really strong novels. I don't think I have any other P.D. James. I don't really know why. Aside from Death at Pemberley, which might be here in Mordor. I have no idea. I got these because they were UK trade paperbacks. But even though I got them because they were UK trade paperbacks, I don't think I've read either one of them for that reason. Let's see. Let's move on. Oh, okay. The next one's a hardcover of Jaws. Enough said. I love it. Glad I have a hardcover. Then... Oh, right. Okay, this came out earlier this year. It's a self-published book called Man's Selection, Charles Darwin's Theory of Creation, Evolution, and Intelligent Design. As that subtitle will tell you, the book was lies from start to finish, just lies from start to finish. Charles Darwin did not make a theory of intelligent design. Why I kept it, I have no idea. What's it doing on a bookshelf? Oh, okay. Next one is Salvatore Settis, If Venice Dies. This actually got some review coverage in one or two places, which I was glad to see. It's an important little book. All right, we're moving on here. What is this tiny little thing? Oh, this is Edward Copplestone's advice to a young reviewer. I read this. It's a cute little thing. It actually belongs. I treasure it. It actually belongs in the other book room. I don't know what it's doing out here. Then we have J.D. Daniels' The Correspondence. This is I ranted about this when I first got it. I think this is 2017. It's a very strange book, a mixture of memoir and essay and polemic. This came out in January, and it stuck with me. It was quite good. Annoying, but quite good. What's next here? Grief is the Thing with Feathers. This has gotten its fair share of mentions on BookTube. Max Porter's novel that I really liked. I thought it was a little too precious for its own boots. I was aware of its preciousness at times when I shouldn't have been. At times when that weakened the narrative for me. What's next here? What are these two things? Two classics, ladies and gentlemen. Oliver Twist and Pride and Prejudice. Only not those boring old versions that you're familiar with. No, these are guinea pig classics. In which the entire thing is reenacted with guinea pigs. Finally, a Pride and Prejudice that doesn't bore me. Mr. Bingley was good looking, but Mr. Darcy was much handsomer, a fine figure of a man. Let's see here. Okay, this is a beat-up paperback copy of Anno Dracula by Kim Newman. A great book, a fantastic fantasy on Victorian England and Dracula that takes as its premise, and an absolutely inspired premise, that the Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, in which a Carpathian vampire makes his way to England intent on turning the whole country into vampires or servants of vampires. The premise of the book is that Bram Stoker's novel itself was an alternate fiction, and that in reality, Dracula succeeded, and that